You know, there comes a time in every young girl's life where they are on the internet and they stumble upon an article that blows their mind out the back of the front of their face. That article says that Microsoft, well, Xbox gamers, do not care about quality. And that's why they're going to win with Game Pass. Yeah, this actually happened, and I want to talk about it. Breaking report, Xbox Game Pass is going to win Microsoft's console war because people in the ecosystem, people on the service, do not care about quality, but instead care about quantity by this title's very definition. Now, we're going to get into this. So this is incredibly interesting to me because many of us out here have been talking about wanting more and bigger and better things from Xbox, and as a result, look at them. Look at where they're going. Look at what they're doing. Look at what they've done, right? You in the chat, myself, people like us have asked for better, and as a result, now look where they're at. Meanwhile, this article likes to pretend like we are back in 2014. Now, I'm sure they're not the only ones, right? We've got IGN repping the PlayStation chain. And yes, by the way, this has been verified. This is a real IGN comment. Recently, during a live stream, IGN said, "I love how people say PlayStation has no games, when Battlefield will be on both. And PS5 just got both Ratchet & Clank and Returnal." But what was the last Xbox exclusive? Internet points, if you can guess. Now, again, this is real. This is actually, people have gone back through this live stream and found this actual comment by this verified IGN account. And some people say, hey, the guy in the PlayStation chain forgot to sign out. We know you're going to have some fans working there at IGN. You're going to have some guys that prefer either brand. But really, seriously, IGN, get it together. Get it together, seriously. Shout out to IGN for that gem right there. I mean, just a quick side note. I'm gonna throw that out there real quick. I found that interesting. And shout out to this guy for thinking that this was gonna go over well. Yeah, I have no idea. Does he even work? Is this someone's kid? I don't know. So some people wonder where the biased media thing comes in. Hey, I've never pushed that narrative on the channel, but I've seen it happen. I've seen it, and this is another example. And hopefully that guy remembers to log out of the IGN account. And you just reminded people why they don't go to IGN.com anymore. We also reminded people what an appetizer tastes like. Hey, that was just an appetizer. The main course is, well, today, metro.co.uk. They don't represent all people from the UK, by the way. I'm told by Nanopolymath. Shout out to him. Many of you guys have sent me this article, and it's a doozy. All right, so Xbox Game Pass will win for Xbox because people care more about quantity than they do about quality. This is a reader feature, whatever that means. Hey, look, I could put a guy on my channel. Man, go ahead and show people smoke crack rocks. Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's a creator feature. It's a crackhead. Yeah, he's still a crackhead on my channel. This is still a very, very ridiculous article on this, apparently, many people say, ridiculous website. So first and foremost, the reader does agree that Microsoft won E3. Yeah. He does, however, admit that he's not an Xbox fanboy, so hey, that's good. I guess he can criticize both and give credit where it's due. That's always welcome. Apparently, according to these guys, it's not fair that Microsoft have so much money and Sony don't in the console war, quote unquote. Yeah, from this point forward, just imagine the tables were reversed and picture yourself thinking that this guy would be upset at literally any of this. The answer's no, he wouldn't. He's basically mad that Microsoft are doing things better than Sony, all while saying very dumb things. Anyway. Now here's where it gets fun for me, right? He says, what worries me even more is just how predictable and unimaginative their games have been up until now. Halo and Forza are very well known, and everything else seems to be just Western first-person role-playing games. That are multiplayer games. He continues by saying, I don't know what Microsoft meant by their most diverse first-party lineup ever, but in terms of games and country of origin, it could hardly be less diverse. So this blows my mind because they've got studios all around the world, right? They've got everything from Ninja Theory all the way to Turn 10, all the way to the guys over at Bethesda. And then to really cap it off, they've got all kinds of global publishing deals on top of their continuing search for more developers and studios, the most recent of which include the likes of, let's say, Avalanche, things like that. Rumors of Crytek being acquired as well. They've got teams all around the world. They are the most diverse publisher in the history of the planet because of this. And they do create a number of genres when it comes to video games. Everything from RTS, which again, there's no other first-party studios from anyone else making RTS games or even publishing RTS games. Microsoft are making Age of Empires, they've had Halo Wars. They do dominate the RTS genre right now, and while some of you might not want to count that as a game for some reason, guess what? It's an actual game, and some people like them. But bottom line, Microsoft are the most diverse publisher out there. They own the most diverse set of studios. I think they have the most diverse set of IP. And overall, I think they're the biggest IP of all time collectively when it comes to everything that they own. He says, fool that I am, I imagined that this E3 might be the place where they finally announced a Japanese first-party studio, but no, nothing. While also taking note of the one they do own when they acquired ZeniMax, but it doesn't count because it was an accident, right? So he wants them to purposely go do it so it matters, and so the money actually spends itself, or I'm lost, man. Never mind. He says there has still been no attempt to engage with Japan, and there has also been no attempt to start a studio from Europe or South America or anywhere. Well, for one, they've actually got a headquarters in Japan for this stuff now. That's actually happened in the last couple of years. Now, he says that Microsoft do not see this as a problem, even though Phil has publicly stated over and over that they're actually looking for some stuff in that area. Look, I'm going to warn you, there's a little mini rant coming up because of the lack of general knowledge. It just kind of hit me all at once, but really he finally starts to wrap it up, right? Get to the point by saying, so we have a pretty clear pair of alternatives here. Microsoft and their less interesting first-party games, as well as Game Pass, versus Sony. And of course, we've all heard it, right? They're critically acclaimed exclusives that cost $70. Now remember, this guy thinks $70 is actually warranted for one. He's not looking at their books and if the ink's black or red. He's not looking at their profits on the microtransactions that cover their game development costs alone by itself. He just thinks that games need to cost $70 because, hey, it's been 10, 20 years and the market, of course, isn't bigger than it ever has been, and there isn't DLC and microtransactions and all this other stuff that there is to actually raise the revenue. We'll just pay $10 more, and that they're more amazing now, right? I mean, I really need you to stop and think about what you're doing when you're defending $70 games, right? Look, I get it. We may not even have a choice to pay a little bit more, even more. But to act like it means it's better. Destruction All-Stars was going to be $70 when it was announced. All right. Now, he does say that the problem here, well, of course, aside from his logic, is that for anybody other than somebody who is video game obsessive, the choice is clear. It's Microsoft. That's the problem. If it were Sony, if they were the obvious choice, thanks to value, that probably wouldn't be a problem. I'm betting, look, I don't know, let's call him Timmy. I'm betting Timmy here would not have an issue with Sony if they were the obvious choice, right? You didn't have a single issue with that, regardless of how they've hidden things from you and tried to mislead you about cross-generation, led the charge on price hikes for video games in general. Just to name a few. Yeah, Microsoft's the problem. I mean, they did try to double the price of Xbox Live like morons during the pandemic, which we all talked about and spoke out about, but yeah, they've been pretty pro-consumer for the most part. We'll get back into what they're actually doing in a minute. Now, he does say, as good as most, but not all Sony first-party games are, as soon as you buy 3 or 4, you do realize how much value Game Pass has. Well, duh. Now, he continues by saying, I hate this because it reduces gaming to a question of quantity versus quality, and most people are always going to choose quantity. For one, this is a stupid argument. Where is your proof, for one? This is called value, not quantity versus quality. This is called, hey, Forza Horizon 4 is a 92 Metascore game, and you get it in Game Pass for no additional cost. Do you like all the Bethesda titles? Do you like Doom Eternal? One of the best games that came out that year. No additional cost. Fallout, same thing. Halo, Master Chief Collection, same thing, right? I mean, every game coming forward, are these horrible games? Are these going to be a flight simulator? A 90-something meta? Horrible? It's a low-quality title? For quantity's sake, right? This is where I think this argument just... It never had a leg, but I don't understand why people can't stop and think about their own argument and then realize what they played in Destruction All-Stars. Realize what you played in Days Gone according to your own logic. Again, I like this game, but don't shoot yourself. Don't blow your own toes off with a 357 Magnum here. You don't have to do this. We don't need crutches today. A lot of appeal for a lot of different people. It's their goal to keep the service profitable and bringing in titles like MLB The Show. Is MLB The Show trash? It's a Sony first-party game. It's one of those bangers. How come it hit Game Pass day and date? money talks. And it really sucks that it's the obvious value option because it's not because Sony didn't do it, but Microsoft did. He says, people are always going to choose quantity. No, that's not the case. I say it all the time myself. Quality over quantity in general when it comes to Microsoft producing games. The thing I value most, almost over everything right now, is time. And that's the one thing you cannot pay any amount of money to get back, really. I value my time, and I want to play the games that I really enjoy playing. It doesn't really matter what the Metascore is. I just want to play what I enjoy playing. I don't want to sit there and waste time playing a game I don't like. Now, here's one of the more stupid statements here. There's not a single argument for Xbox over Sony that doesn't involve better value. Value, it's big. How much are you paying? What are you getting in return? That's what you base every single decision off of when it comes to gaming, just about, if you think about it. Secondly, what do you want people to say? Well, I would go to PlayStation Now, but, I guess I'll take less value because it's Sony. What do you want people to do, right? Do you just want to, how about you just ask for better? Say, hey, Sony, give us your first-party titles, day and date, and PlayStation Now, like you eventually will, and just tell them to stop lying to you about crap. But if you value a lot of games for a little bit of money, knowing that you don't own them, which everyone does, they're not fooling anyone, right? It's people trying to act like Microsoft trying to fool you with this. Why don't you just ask Sony to do better instead of complaining that Microsoft is doing better than Sony at something, basically saying, well, they're going to choose Xbox and it's Microsoft and that's why it sucks. Just ask Sony to do better and compete, and maybe they will. And of course, he had to make sure that he wasn't a fanboy once more, quote unquote. I'm not a fanboy, but man, it's so obvious Xbox sucks compared to PlayStation. He states that nobody's buying that Xbox for the exclusives over PlayStation, even though they got the best racers and strategy games and the first-person shooters and stuff like that. Hey, again, credit where it's due, right? That's, I don't know. It seems like he's just butthurt, kind of like the last person we covered, the DualShockers guy. He says, apart from everything, there are no Xbox Series X exclusives yet. Yes, there are. The Medium instantly came to mind. And again, you might say it's trash, but you might want to keep an eye on those Metascores and really keep in mind what you said before about that stuff. Yeah, it's a third-party deal, but so is Demon's Souls, right? At the end of the day, it's a false claim. So not only is he saying the Series X doesn't have any exclusives, because we're all only buying these things for exclusives. The 3080 Ti will have all these exclusives for it on the PC, but he's also saying, well, at the very best, you are just hoping and praying that Halo Infinite isn't as bad as it looks, or Starfield is something interesting, something that you imagined it to be, which I'm sure you wouldn't have had an issue with this had it come to PlayStation as well. Ultimately, he says Microsoft are going to win because of the sheer volume of content at a reasonable price. No, a fantastic price. No, Microsoft are going to win because of their foresight, right? Their investment back into their consumer, giving them the things they want. And up top that list is always value. Just one of many things that we all crave. And he also thinks it's naive to think that Sony can compete with their amazing games like God of War in a service. And he says the only thing they can do, and it saddens him to say this, but the only thing they can do is to create their own Game Pass, which I'm sure they can't afford to do. I'm pretty sure Sony can count higher than you can, okay? These guys have been doing this for a long time. Do you not pay attention to analytics? This MLB The Show was one of the best-selling sports games in the history of Xbox. And 2K, Madden, they all do great on Xbox. And it was in Game Pass day and date, free of charge for 20, 30 million users, no extra cost. One of the best-selling keyword of all time. Secondly, Sony already have a Game Pass competitor. As a matter of fact, they started it 2014, something like that, with PlayStation Now. Literally wanting to charge you a monthly fee to stream your games to you instead of offering backwards compatibility. Do you remember that? Yeah, that's turned into a full-on Game Pass clone without the ability to have day-and-date titles in there. Though they have tested this and it has spiked users, you can expect that to come at some point. Ultimately, this guy is really, really afraid, and he thinks Sony are doomed. Oh, and also Game Pass is doom and gloom, and it's the only thing they care about, even though they've invested more in console hardware with their dual SKU approach and all that, and anyone else, and all this other stuff. And they've ensured that your games are cross-play, cross-buy, which you refuse to ask for. And also, guess what? They want to bring your back and pass stuff with you, and they want to make it better than ever, free of charge. Guess what? You're not mentioning that. You don't care about that. That's right. Okay. So yeah, they're not pro-consumer at all, and they're not doing things at all. So feel free to submit your trash opinion on this website, and maybe someone will send me that one. And it's useless noise out there in the ether of just opinions that are wrong, believe it or not. These are things that people think and feel while they don't even take a second to look into anything they're worried about or really just fake outraged about some plastic. This is gaming. You're supposed to have fun with this crap. You just spontaneously combust it somehow. You're running around in circles, fear-mongering everything. You don't even understand half the stuff you're saying is not accurate. So, yeah, I guess this is why people kept sending this to me. Let me know your thoughts, guys. Pretty ridiculous argument. Xbox gamers, guys in Game Pass, do not want quality games. You're only there for the quantity. You don't factor in how great the titles are. It's fine. You'll play Life of Black Tiger, the cell phone game. You'll play Godzilla. It's fine. You'll play all the worst trash and you'll pay for it. You'll pay $10-15 a month to play the worst games and waste your time. You know, the one thing we don't really have a lot of. And guess what? You haven't asked for better. You haven't been talking for 5 or more years as a community about how Microsoft needs to step it up. Now, some have been damage controlling every single thing they do, but still, many of us have been saying, look, Microsoft, you got to do this, you got to do this. Look at where they're at now. And it's because of those of us in the comments, those of us on the videos, those of us on Twitter that have nicely, constructively said, hey, Microsoft, we want some bigger, more blockbuster style AAA games. It's been a while. Or, hey, Microsoft, we want some more unique indie type experiences. Or, hey, Microsoft, we want a more powerful console. We're tired of this 900p crap. Or, Microsoft, hey, can you get rid of the free-to-play paywall? Or, Microsoft, hey, can you buy some studios? This is ridiculous. You know, the list goes on and on. So let me know your list down below. Let me know if you enjoyed the video. Let me know if you subscribed. That'd be awesome. And if you haven't, consider the like button, subscribe, and all that good stuff. Check out the links down below for the Patreon and, of course, the channel memberships. You support the channel. I put content out. I at least hope to be a voice for some of you when it comes to this kind of stuff, because this stuff has got to be said. And holy crap, it took 17 minutes to say. Wow, I really do not want to edit all the holy crap. I seriously appreciate you guys if you're still here. And by the way, I know that I'm feeding into this, and that I'm doing what they want, but also it kind of goes both ways. They gave me something interesting to make fun of, and hopefully you guys are entertained for a minute. And of course, they get, people knowing never to go to metro.co.uk. Shout out to everyone over there in the UK. I know they do not represent you. Thank you for watching this video. And of course, check out my last one. I'm Dealer. I'll see you in the next one.